Hi, I'm Judes from Single Mum with a Daughter. This is Choo-Choo, who clearly likes the camera. Um, has been some time between videos, have been a little bit busy, so I thought I would just check in and talk about everything I have been up to and what is coming. Say hello to the people. Okay, so I am probably about 20 kilos overweight. I'm a very short person, 4 foot 11 or 152 centimeters, depending on which measurements you work by. Um, I have decided to try to take myself on a bit of a weight loss journey. Try to just combine a little bit of healthier eating and a bit more exercise. I gifted myself a mini stepper. Um, Nothing fancy because I'm not made of money, which would be amazing if I was, but it is not the reality. So I'll be starting off just with something light because I have a tendency where if I overdo it with exercise, if I injure myself, I just won't do it again for ages, and then I just put on more donuts. um, So yeah, I won't be surviving on salads and that sort of thing though, because I do enjoy my food. I'll just be making some better choices in terms of snacks and what I'm actually fueling my body with. Um, I finally got a very big monkey off my back in the last week. Um, I had some paperwork to wind up some of my partner's affairs, which I have been putting off for months and months and months because it's hard enough adjusting to life as a widow and raising a child without having things like paperwork added onto it and being asked to prove your relationship with the deceased. It's a really yucky process. And I really didn't want to bar of it, to be completely honest, but it's just something that has to be done. I really, really struggled with that, but thankfully had a very good friend who came over with a care package for us with some nice healthy food, some fruit and some dinner for that night, and some books for Choo-Choo and all that sort of thing, which was incredibly thoughtful and extremely helpful because I wasn't really in the mind space to be eating or anything like that. And one thing I have a tendency to do when I'm really stressed or upset is I will just forget to eat, and I'm not great at remembering to do that anyway. And when I do, I binge on horrible, unhealthy food because it makes me feel better at the time. Not so much in the long run, but that's something I'm looking to get under control. Not so much because of how I look, but more because I want to make my body as healthy as possible so I can be around for Choo-Choo for as long as possible. So it is a little more of a practical thing, but also I just feel I need to be a bit more responsible with myself so that I can make sure she doesn't lose another parent. Um, I also finally got a tax return back, which the last few years um, I've had an actual tax bill because I was earning a little bit more before I was made redundant. This year I actually got a nice amount back, which I split up into all of my bank accounts. So I got to put a little more away towards the house deposit, which was awesome. Um, Also been super busy because I have a rental inspection coming up and I'm extremely fussy. when it comes to making sure that I get the carpets cleaned and all that sort of thing before inspections. It's not required, but I just feel better knowing it's been done. And it's a good excuse to get things like that done anyway. Um, I didn't stop just with tidying up for that though. I decided that yesterday, it was a very last minute thing, that my kitchen is not very functional. And it is a tiny space as well, which probably doesn't help with the functionality. But I moved the entire kitchen around, moved some of the appliances around to try and make it work a little bit better. Hopefully, I will spend a bit more time in there in terms of making um, homemade food and snacks and that sort of thing instead of just reaching for something out of a packet snack wise. I think it will work a lot better the way I've got it set up, which are you okay? Um, yeah, so I'm actually quite excited about getting back in there and making up some delicious meals, um, which I'll be starting tonight. And I'm in the middle of getting Choo-Choo's big girl room done up. Her bedroom is very small and still has the cot in there, which she only slept in twice because she has co-slept since she was born, most of the time, except for when she was really, really tiny. She was just in the bassinet next to the bed, but she's slept in bed with us and just with me now for quite some time, so it'll be quite the adjustment for me as well. Um, I'm really struggling with that aspect because I think it has really helped grief wise having her there sleeping with me, with my partner, her dad gone. So I feel like I would love to just keep her in bed with me for quite a while longer, but I also feel like it's important for her to have her own space as well. So she does have a room. It still has a cot set up in there, some furniture in there, which I'm going to just get. Um, so I bought her a brand new four-poster bed and a new mattress, some cute bedding for it. I still need to get some fairy lights to hang over the top of the four-poster. Um, I really I wanted to get her a toddler bed because they're so cute, but then I realized she may grow out of that really quickly and I'm just going to have to end up replacing it with something else. So I did just get her a single bed. Um, I thought if I went with a four-poster, we can change up the decorating and stuff and get a lot more time out of it before it needs to be replaced. So my idea is to get some fairy lights wrapped around all the top of it, and she has a mosquito net that she's had since she was really little, which we had over her bassinet for a little while because mosquitoes were getting into the bedroom and she doesn't react well to mosquito bites. But it's a very cute pink and purple mosquito net with purple butterflies on it, which is just gorgeous. And she loves butterflies and she loves pink and purple. So I'm talking about you. Um, I'm going to be putting that above the bed as well, so I can kind of turn it into a princess bed type of situation, which I think will be lovely. So I've been using her cot mostly as storage and slowly have just been in the last week or so clearing out the items that are in the cot so that I can give it away to somebody. Um, it's not a special cut or anything like that, but someone might as well get some use out of it. So I'm one of the pay it forward sites that are local to me. Um, she has a chest of drawers in there, which is way too large for the space and is a leftover from a long time ago, which I need to still clean out. I think it basically just houses some of my old jewelry, which I clearly haven't worn in quite a while. Um, so I'll also be getting rid of that. Um, I'm being gifted a set of drawers for her, so and it's more appropriate for that space, which is good. What else? Meal planning, which I will be getting done today. Um, while I was moving the kitchen around, I decided to clean out the crisper, which was a lot worse than I thought it would be. um, had quite a few liquid cucumbers and things of that nature sitting in the bottom, which has now been cleared out, so I have a much better view of what we have that's usable now. I know that sounds disgusting, but please don't pretend you've never left vegetables in your crisper that have turned to liquid because we have all done it. Um, you don't have time when you have kids really sometimes to keep on top of that sort of thing. It's yeah, it doesn't happen every time, but I think now that I've gotten around to it, it'll make it a lot easier. So now that I've done that, I can do up a basic meal plan for the next 7 days, which brings me to my next point. So from Monday, I will be doing a 7 days of dinner video, which I will release on the following Monday. I just feel like it would be interesting for people to see, I guess, what I do with our meals in terms of, sometimes making one meal and then repurposing it. I do a lot of repurposing for some of our meals because there are only the two of us. And sometimes Choo-Choo won't eat all her dinner, sometimes I won't eat all my dinner, and sometimes there's too much left for having for lunch leftovers and then dinner. And I get very bored because I like variety in my food to a degree, and I do enjoy tasty food. I don't enjoy eating the same meal 3 days in a row. I will do it if it needs to be done, but um, not my favorite thing. So, I'm not planning too far in advance. What I will have in my head is a little list of possibilities based on what we've already got. Um, I know I've already grabbed out some bacon and some thighs to start off with. I dare say the bacon will be going into a risotto, so I'll probably be doing some bacon and mushroom risotto. The chicken more than likely will be roasted with some pumpkin, um, some potatoes, some sweet potato potentially. I may even just make a potato bake. Just depends on what the mood takes me with at any given time. I do have a tendency to change my mind. I might have ingredients in mind, but then I might change how I use them the last minute. So that could happen, which is why I thought I would do it after the fact because planning very specific meals doesn't work quite so well for me now. It used to in a former life because my situation was markedly different to what it is now. But I've had to adjust my expectations in terms of having a toddler who might not eat everything or might decide that she'd rather have biscuits or nuggets or something else for dinner instead of what I've cooked. You never can tell. It's sometimes you need to just pivot, which is why I always have a backup idea in mind as well, in case Choo-Choo doesn't want to eat what I've cooked, and then I can make her something else, which actually happened last night. Um, Thankfully, it was only a simple meal. Given that I had done so much yesterday, decided to make some cheese toasties. She decided she didn't like cheese toasties yesterday. So she demanded I make her Vegemite toast instead. So she had strawberries and Vegemite toast for dinner. There's balance there. Sometimes the pivot isn't a large one. In most cases, it's not a large one. She has got some foods that I know she'll just eat. Um, but yeah, so next video that you will more than likely see from us is the 7 days of dinners in our house, which will primarily be using the items we already have. Um, so yeah, we'll be making the most of what we've got. Currently, I seem to have quite a few potatoes. I have sweet potatoes, I have pumpkin, I have mushrooms, I have some green beans, I have some frozen spinach, which I actually really like because I like to pop those into things like risottos or one pot dishes and that sort of thing, for an extra veggie. I think that's mostly what we have at the moment. I have some very large sweet potatoes, which might actually make some sweet potato toasts out of as well for one of our lunch meals. I have quite a few eggs as well. We still have some different meat cuts in the freezer. I'm not sure which ones I'm using yet. Rather than put too much thought in it, I'm essentially just trying to start from the top shelf and work my way down and then come up with something there. Also have a very large bag of hash browns, which I love for breakfast with eggs. Choo-Choo actually really quite likes hash browns as well. But yeah, so if that all sounds like something you might be interested in taking a look at, keep an eye out for the next video, and thanks for watching.